Today is episode 1 of a hopefully monthly vlog series I will do for a few months of me making things for my girlfriend's birthday. So I adore my girlfriend. It's only natural, but me and her have been together for a year and a few months now, and her birthday is going to happen in August. I have started a lot of projects for her as I've just been dating her, and a lot of them have gone unfinished since we started dating, sort of with just like, I started a lot of stuff for her last birthday, and then we ended up moving because her birthday is August 5th and our school does moving like August 10th, August 12th. So anything I didn't finish for her birthday had to get, I finished a few things for her birthday last year, but the stuff that I had started last minute, because I was like, I totally have time, even though I was taking summer classes and I still had to move out of my apartment and I just didn't finish them. A lot of them got packed up and then weren't necessarily taken over in the right way to where I've been living for the past 7 months or so. They were packed up. I brought some stuff to my apartment, some stuff ended up back at my house, and then some of the stuff in my apartment got put into a weird spot. But I did work on things that were in the apartment, her apartment, because I was also staying over there way more than actually staying in my actual apartment. So there's only a finite number of knitting needles in my stash and I am starting to run out. So I think it's time to evaluate everything I've started for my girlfriend and see how much of that I can finish before her birthday. I have not told her I'm filming this. She does know about all of these projects because I can't keep secrets from her, but I didn't tell her I was going to film this, and hopefully she will just see the video go on YouTube and that's how she'll find out about this, but we'll see. So in this first video, what I want to do is go over the status of all of my whips for her and maybe inspire someone else of a type of project they might want to make for their partner, or just get a million comments saying sweater curse, sweater curse. I believe in sweater curse, but we're already past that point. So, it can only happen once. It can't happen twice. Hopefully. So this is basically an overview of all of those projects that I've started, kind of their status. I think there's 2 or 3 I want to start this summer that I hopefully will be able to cast on. But I want sort of each chapter to sort of be like a podcast in and of itself, where it's updates just about those projects and it's focusing on a very specific goal. And I guess I also probably want to spend more of the videos focusing on why I'm making these things versus on just the process of making them. So I guess, yeah, a little bit more personal, a little bit more intimate into my love language of making things. So one of the first things I started for my girlfriend is a giant bulky sweater. This is a free pattern from Wool and the Gang, and it is a very interestingly constructed sweater. It's basically done where you knit from the front bottom over to the other side. So yeah, so you knit the body, increase dramatically for sleeves, knit the sleeves, decrease dramatically to get them back in, and then work it back while also doing a neck hole. So this is done with the Woolies Thick and Quick or whatever. This is just something I just wanted to knit something like this for fun, and I was like, I'll just make it for myself, and I picked the wrong size, followed the wrong size or whatever, so it does technically stretch to fit me, but it doesn't fit around my arms, and my girlfriend is petite, and anything that I have made that doesn't end up fitting right, I always know I can just give to her and she will just be over the moon about it, because sometimes I mess up and things end up too small, and for some things that don't really have size, she still ends up with them because she just kind of really likes it. I knit a shawl a while ago with like the September Sky Shawl that had the cabled balloons and stuff. And we got the yarn for that together, and I just thought it was really fun. It was just gonna be more of a fun knit and kind of more out of my comfort zone because I'd never knit a shawl before. But she ended up just like always kind of like gravitating towards it, and she wears it while she plays games now. So it's like basically hers. So that's sort of how this is, because like this just, I guess like it technically fits like around my wrist, but it's just like the arms are also a little short. So I don't know why I stopped working on this, because it's very close to done. I know it does not look close to done. It is intentionally reverse stockinette. I should say that too. But I'm at the bottom on the other side. I think I have like not like less than 10 rows, like not maybe even 5. And then I can cast it off. But then it's like big seam, which is a lot. And then you have to pick up for the bottom ribbing, the neck ribbing, and the cuffs, which will require busting out my DPNs, which is a little bit daunting. I think this is now 12mm needles. I think these are size 17s. They aren't labeled, I'm guessing, because at some point the needles are just so big that what size even are they? Yeah, I think then the ribbing is done on 10mm. I don't have 10mm DPNs, so if I need those, that's something we'll do on as a part of the series together. The next whip that I have is this front tie top that I started. This is one of those things I started last year and then I didn't quite finish. So this is a free pattern from Yarnspirations that is just using their Caron cotton yarn. So it's like a boat neck, and it has these little ties at the bottom that you tie, and it's all cute. And it's like girly and stuff. And then I think you pick up after you've sewn it together to do little sleeves. So, but I got this far on the back, which is basically just a giant single crochet rectangle, which go figure why I got bored. And not only that, I think I slightly increased. I remember thinking like, oh, I messed up. I painted that on the front. It has been a long time for this. I don't know how far across this is done as compared to this one. Okay, it's like 2/3 of the way there. Also, my ball of yarn for this looks like this, which was not helping the process. So this is done on a 5mm crochet hook. It's just single crochet. I think this is something that can be picked up and probably done in just a handful of days. Same with the other one. I think this is something that's very easily to be done, and hopefully I will have a nice little stack as I keep working on these. But yeah, this is like also attached to some other ball in the bin behind me. That's why this hasn't been touched in months. Not just because of the single crochet, but that's, again, not making it any better. The next thing I have is like, it's so dumb as to why it's not done, but it's this beanie I made her. I think this is made out of those, when Joanne had the whole like multiple color yarn things, like the circles with the multiple colors. I think like Colorama or something. But this just has a bunch of ends, and I finished this. I was also going to make a matching one for myself, which I never did. So I was like, oh, when I finish this and I finish the other one, that's when I'll go and like sew all the ends in, because I'll have them both done. Never even started mine. So of course this never got the ends woven in on it, even though I knit this in like 3 hours. In July of last year, July 2023. So only fitting I finally finish it and just weave them in. So that one's the easiest one to finish. What I now have is one of the more labor-intensive projects. So this is the Orichalcum shawl, and it's like wow, that's a cool shawl. It's lace. That must be why it's hard. No, it's beaded lace. That's why it's hard. So I figured out how to place the beads as I was knitting, but it was so hard. And I think that, like, I have a really small crochet hook that I'm using for it, where you stick the tiny crochet hook through the bead, pull the stitch through, and then you can just knit it like normal. The beads are pretty often and it's really hard. I also have never knit proper lace like this before. I've followed lace charts for a few projects that are like smaller, but this is like a pure lace pattern. It's like fingering on 4mm needles. And so the reason I'm knitting this in a yarn that looks like this, which is, I want to say it's Linello or Linello by Lang. So it's like a linen cotton viscose blend, I believe. So what's interesting about this is this name, Orichalcum, for all of my gamer nerds out there, is a specific material that exists in the world of the Elder Scrolls. The Elder Scrolls is a game series that my girlfriend really likes. Her favorite game in the series is Morrowind, though more people who are watching may be familiar with Skyrim. For the long and short of it, this is basically a material that you can use and find within the world. And so I found it when I was looking for patterns. But yeah, I got this far. This is through, I think, like chart 1. And you repeat the charts multiple times because it's like, it's only charted, which is also what makes it hard. So it's like slow going, difficult thing to knit, and it's going to take a lot of time to do. So this one I'm hoping to pick back up as a more regular knit now that I am basically done with the semester. Finished my 4th semester of college, and I will be doing summer school, but hopefully this is something I can like work on while listening to like lectures over summer, since they're all online. I don't actually know where this whip is. It is definitely somewhere in my room, or maybe at school, but it is this like mesh like crocheted tank top from Yarnspirations. The reason I cast this one on is because, so my girlfriend's name is Calico, and I will show a picture of what it looks like here, but the yarn in the, I don't think the one in the sample is this color, but this is the same yarn used as that front tie top, and it has a colorway called Calico Flowers, and my girlfriend's name is Calico, so I got a ball of it, and I decided to use it to make that top for her. I have all of the pieces crocheted. They are just not seamed. I haven't seen them for like 10 months. They've just been sitting there, non-seamed, which is also why I started that finishing series, or if this is coming out first, why I will be starting a series of finishings. Now the next one that I have is also a pretty big time suck, but it is going to be a crocheted blanket. So I already crocheted her a blanket. I crocheted her a blanket for her birthday last year, and which I think still has loose ends on it. Not worried about it, but it was, this is like with like the Bernat and Joanne blanket yarn. So this is similar to her other one, but her other one is only a twin size, so it's big enough for her, but it's not big enough for the both of us. So I wanted to make flowers like this in a couple different colors. This is one of them. I think I created 6 color variations, and I wanted to use all of these to make a really large blanket. So it's something that both of us can lay underneath, and it's something that we can keep for a while. When I was working on it, then I saw people talking about how like Bernat yarn always breaks. It's like not strong and it'll fall apart. And I got really nervous, and I already wasn't going to finish it for her birthday. So then I stopped it, and I was like, well, if it's going to fall apart, I don't want to do that. I don't think it's going to fall apart. I think some people pull much harder on their yarn than I do, and are a lot rougher on their projects than I am, which is perfectly fine. If that's, you want your things to hold up, it should hold up. This is going to be something that's just like lays on top of our like regular blanket. These are 3 of the colors, and this is also a free pattern from Yarnspirations. So There's one more round of white that goes on them. I wanted to join them as you go because I didn't want to have way too many joins to do and just sew them all up over and over. And I thought join as you go would also make it, probably make it easier, especially with it being blanket yarn. So I have 3 other colors. Like I have a dark purple, a yellow, and like a medium purple, I think, that also go along with these in different combinations. I wasn't sure how big I wanted to make this. I think I have 10 of these made, 12, somewhere between 8 and 12, maybe. I'm gonna assume I need to make like at least 60 of these, which would be a lot, but it needs to at minimum cover a full-size bed, and ideally it should be the size of a queen size blanket. I will be using my own like queen duvet as sort of as reference. If it's a little bit smaller, that's okay, but I want it to be like a functional blanket as well, where I find that like a lot of blankets, if you pull them up and like bunch them around your shoulders, then you pull your feet out from the blanket. I don't want that to be a thing with this one, even if it's just a top blanket. So my next whip is already started, and I started it recently, and I've worked on it recently too. So it is the Make Space tank by Lang. I finished the back panel of it. It's constructed flat with a just back panel and then 2 front panels. I did the back panel and I have this much of my yarn left. And then I didn't have my leather ball at school, so then I will use this to knit the front 2 panels. This is Earth Yarn's Unique Cotton hand-dyed self-striping. It is self-striping. Like, it honestly looks really cool, and she loves it, which is all that I could ever want. Now that I have this, I can just kind of continue working on that. It's not something that I need to like come back to because I only cast it on in like the end of April. So I was working on that secretly, and then I was worried the dimensions weren't matching or it wasn't going to be to exactly what she wanted. So I decided to let her know about it. Like, I tried to keep it a secret, and then I was like, Calico, I can't keep a secret from you. I love you too much. So I told her about it, and it made her really happy because we actually got this yarn together at Firebird in San Francisco back last summer. It was one of our like summer dates or whatever, and that time was really special for us because I was living on campus over summer and I kept the same apartment that I had for the whole year. My other 4 roommates moved out, and then the 2 that I had over summer were both pretty out of the house roommates. Like, they were gone traveling for good portions of summer, and one of them was someone who I already knew really well, and the other one was someone I didn't know at all. So it was really chill, but there was a lot of time where it was just me and her in the apartment, and it really felt like we were living just together. And I don't know, just thinking about the date that we went on to go get this makes me feel really sentimental because it was one of the first times we went to a yarn store together. And no, she loves going to them with me. Like, she knits a little bit, but she's not as into it as I am, which would be like a lot for her to be that into it, and have any other hobbies. But it's just really sweet, especially because we got our housing assignments for the fall today, and we got like, the way that the school's system works is you can select your own roommates to live in certain areas, but you cannot select someone of the opposite sex in the system. So if you're set as male, you can only pick someone else marked as male. If you are female, you can only mark someone who's marked as female. And if you are non-binary, they just leave you as blank or they say like other, I think is what it says. And you can only pick someone who is assigned other, which, number 1, makes no sense. Number 2 is kind of a pain. So me and her have differing gender markers in there, which is funny. So, and even if we both got ours changed to what we wanted, we would still not be the same. So we had to like specially request housing, and I was nervous that they weren't going to give us a place with just us and no roommates. Back to the yarn. The yarn looks real, it kind of like looks weird. But this is gets to like how like yarn looks totally different in the hank than how it actually looks knit up, and trying to like see this as like stripes, I guess. It's just pretty interesting to me, but that's all I have to say about that tank top. That one's gonna get done. I'm really enjoying working on it. I can't wait to wind this up tonight and knit on it. So the last whip that I have is my typical tank for my girlfriend. So this one is knit up with, I talked about it on my first podcast, that, or maybe my second podcast, that I got this sport weight yarn, and even though this pattern calls for DK, I'm just knitting it with sport anyway because it's a pretty tight, it says it's a DK on 3mm, and I'm knitting this on like sport on 3.25, and it's like, it's a plenty dense fabric, so I think it's just supposed to be like super dense. But I only have one ball of sport, so I'm perfectly okay with running out of it. So this is what I've just been working on for her most recently. I've held it up. It's looking like it's good. It's curling a lot, so this doesn't look like it would fit even a toddler. But I'm just working on the back right now. And it's kind of at a boring part where, like, on the front, it was like increasing every other row or every 4 rows, and do this and do this and do this. And it was like exciting, I guess. This is now at the point where it's like increase once every 8 rows, because you're not doing, you're like mimicking like the other side or whatever. But so yeah, I have the front done, working on the back. They'll be joined in the round and it will be knit. And I've got this much left of my sport ball, which is kind of a lot. So I also have a plan with, basically, if I run out, I will just get a pink sport weight or a pink fingering or pink DK or something, and then just knit. That's how I'll do that for like the hems and all the edging. She also wants this to be like super cropped because she's like, she's someone who gets really cold all the time, but she is also someone who really, really enjoys like really cropped clothing. And just the other day she was talking about how she really wished she had like a cropped tank top to wear. And she's like, I don't have any that are cropped enough, because all of them for her were like, if they were tight and cropped, they only went like slightly above her belly button. She was like, I want it to be only just like 2 or 3 inches below my boobs. Yeah, so that's why I'm not super worried about running out of yarn for this one, because I think the one ball of sport is like 330 yards, and the pattern calls for like, I think for the extra small it calls for 600 yards, but 600 yards of DK. So maybe it's 600, maybe the pattern calls for 600 yards of fingering weight held double. I don't have it on hand, and I'm like trying to think about it, because I'm like thinking about how small the tank top is. It's like, there's no way it's not like close enough. Whatever. Either way, I'm not worried about it. I'm just going to keep working on it. This one is also one I'm not really worried about making a lot of progress on. I've been really enjoying working on it, so I might just kind of enjoy the work on the ones that I already have, and then make an effort on at least a few others. So then I have one whip that's not, well, I guess it's not a whip because I haven't started it yet. I have one project that I want to cast on for my girlfriend, and it is probably the most daunting out of all of them. Like, I know I showed like queen size blanket and lace with beads, but I have a plan for this yarn, and the plan for this yarn is the cover lace sweater from Pom Pom. If you have not seen the sweater, it is, number 1, gorgeous. Number 2, it is a fingering weight, all over color work, Fair Isle sweater. So I'm hoping I can somehow start and finish that before her birthday, along with everything else. I'm not feeling confident though. Just like thinking about it. Again, she's very petite, so it's like not as much effort as doing it for myself. And because the idea of doing it for myself is really like, that's so much work and that's so much yarn. But like, she would be, I think, a size 1 or a size 2 in the pattern. I think a size 2. So it's like not super big, but I still think it would just be really hard with like all of the color work and stuff, because there's multiple color work charts, but I don't know if it's a repeating motif or if it's just like several repeating motifs. I haven't looked super closely at the pattern, but I own the physical copy of Pom Pom to go with it. So this is probably not going to get cast on until at least like 2 of these things are done. I have all of June, all of July, and then like a week into August, and then like a week now to try and get it done, which that's not that much time. This might become a Christmas gift. I'm not even worried about starting it. I think it's just like in conjunction with the other things is going to be a little bit too much, but I am still hopeful. I think that I could at the very least get all the other stuff done and get a part of this done, which would mean it's less work for Christmas. But yeah, these are like my main priorities for summer. I definitely have a fair few things I want to do for myself, and I am just kind of like, I'm kind of just like fingers crossed I will get to all the stuff that I want to do while like prioritizing the stuff for her. If you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. This is, you know, part 1 of a few part series that I'm doing, going over all of these whips. In about a month, I will be giving more of a vlog, I guess, style one, where I'm showing all of my progress made so far as compared to now. Hopefully we will have some things done by then. And the next one we'll also be going over percentage progresses, which is some just, you know, fun math for how far I've gotten on things. And yeah, I don't know. Tell your girlfriend you love them. Or if you don't have a girlfriend, tell your boyfriend or they friend, or just someone. Tell someone that you love them. And like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe think of something to make for someone else. I guess if that's all I can leave you with, is just like, you know, you have such a powerful ability and you can make anything with your hands. It is a talent that people are totally like wish they could have, and you can use that to bring a lot of joy into someone else's life without it actually having to be that hard for you. You don't need to go as far and beyond as to knit someone a fingering weight color work sweater to show them that you love them. But anyone really worth it will love and adore any small thing that you could ever make for them. And I think that's just what I want today's takeaway to be.